you feel?
I didn't know what to think.
Just,
Because from then on, I didn't know who is Czech and who is just German.
and
I just didn't trust anybody.
that made living very difficult, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think she sold the store then or something. And then we had a little grocery store right where we lived, you know. But I used to go back to her because I enjoyed her. So...
Yeah, what about when you returned home as the Jews were leaving the concentration camps? We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. Some would jump the fence, so to speak, for better treatment.
Right.
Did they
Some
then
of them,
try to jump back?
Okay. Some of them were so afraid to know where the next meal will come from that they preferred to stay longer in Theresienstadt and get the bowl of soup.
What about the ones that would work for the SS, so to speak? Did they then try to integrate back?
Okay. The SS was out.
Mm-hmm.
That means they left. The Russians took over. Okay? Although it was a democratic Czech country, that happened. And the Russians took over. They were in charge of a very huge kitchen for the Russians. And they had another kitchen for the rest of the people who did not leave. And the Red Cross supported that.
So it was kind of shady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is this when the Czech Republic fall under the communist rule? Or did that happen sometime later?
Yeah. It happened but in 1963 that they freed themselves again.
The Czech Republic?
Yeah.
So from 49 to 63, the communists had come in.
In 48.
48 to 63?
Yeah.
And what was, and you lived there for
I don't remember the exact date.
No, not important.
Yeah.
But so you were there during the communist rule for a brief time.
For a brief time, that's the time when Kurt came, and we wanted a passport for me, and they said, no, if you want a passport, why don't you marry a Russian or a Polish person? And I said, because I'm in love with him. And so it took 4 months before they gave me the passport.
Wow. So there was a lot of...
And he stayed with me in Brno until I got it. So we had the longest honeymoon.
Wow. That's 4-month honeymoon. That's
yeah. My uncle gave me a lot of money.
Do you keep up on the news today?
Sometimes.
Do you something I kind of want to pick your brain about a little bit. Today's news in the United States, everybody always screams and yells about the problem we're having with illegal immigration nowadays.
That's right.
You came through the normal channels to come to America. Do you feel a parallel? Not obviously.
I'll tell you something. I have a helper. She is American. She married 3 times in a row her husband. Okay, for the sake that she is married, and she wants to have him to be legalized.
So he's illegal.
He had originally a visa, and he overstayed his visa.
Okay, so and what do you feel that there could be not so much an equality, but is there a parallel that you can draw between some of the things we hear today here, as far as if you listen to the news or you see the anger that Americans have for the illegal immigrants here?
I tell you the truth. It would be nice if at least they would study English.
Absolutely.
Okay? And the reason is because children in the school and so on, they learn very fast. Children learn more faster than any other group of people. When I came to this country, I went to night school. I went and got my degree. And I studied history because I wanted to pass the subject that they're going to ask me for my citizenship. And I feel if I could do it, other people can do it too.
Absolutely, I agree. My question is it's a little complicated, but there seems to be a lot of anger, directed toward
Right.
the they took our job mentality,
This I don't make, they gotta make a living,
Exactly. Do you when Hitler was coming to power, they blamed the Jews for their bad times.
That's right.
Do you find a parallel?
I blame him for bad times too.
I bet you do. I think a lot of people do, and I think you have every right to do so. Do you find a parallel to the sentiment of modern America against, say, illegal immigrants from Mexico as maybe there was growing in Germany against the Jews? Not the same, but do you find a parallel?
You'll be
with that?
surprised. It is not so as much the Mexicans.
Mm-hmm.
You have many other
Oh, absolutely.
people who are here illegally.
Mm-hmm.
They need help.
They do.
And I tell you what help they need, financial.
Yeah.
Why do they scream and holler? Because they need to work. And sometimes it's being taken away by them. A few years ago, they used to work, did their job, shopped their groceries, and went across, back to Tijuana or Ensenada or wherever.
Sure.
Wherever they had their family. And it was a happy family for them. And I remember there was a big field, and we were on the last house there on Fifth Avenue, and we were known as Saks Fifth Avenue. I wished we would. Anyway, they had a beautiful farm, lemon trees, and celery, and tomatoes. And every time they had some leftovers, these guys came over to my mother-in-law, dropped off some of the things, and she made them a big pot of soup. And so during lunchtime, they came over and had a pot of soup, and then they went back to their work. And in the evening, when they came, they usually went shopping here with the money that they got. And
Sure.
And it was a living. Now they don't have these cards, those border crossing cards,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. You said you went back. When did you go back to
The last time, 95.
What was it like